my name is Cindy Lee. I'm an instructor of this course, Intercultural Business and Communication. Today we are going to look at Lesson 2, Section 2. So in Lesson 2, we look at intercultural communication barriers. And with this session, we are going to see how to overcome all those barriers in intercultural communication. So with this lesson, with this session 2, we are going to learn the effective communication skills. So now let's start with today's lesson. But first of all, let's have a very quick review. Do you still remember the barriers in intercultural communication? What are them? Okay, so now let's look at this list. In last session, we introduced you values, beliefs, cultural generalizations, stereotypes, prejudice, bias, discrimination, and conflict. So, when we are communicating about values, beliefs, or the cultural generalizations in our minds, let's be cautious. And if possible, try to avoid stereotypes, prejudice, bias, discrimination against any group of people. And of course, we want to avoid any conflict in our communication process. But how can we achieve this? Okay, we have to improve our intercultural communication competence. Now, let's have a quick review again. How can we do this? So, there are 4 components of intercultural communication competence. They are intercultural attitude, intercultural knowledge, intercultural communication skills, and critical cultural awareness. So first, how can we cultivate correct intercultural attitude? We have to think, understand, and respect all the time. Think about our own cultural values. Think about other people's cultural values. And try to understand others and respect other people and their identities, their values, their ways of life. So these are correct intercultural attitudes. And how can we enrich our intercultural knowledge? We have already said this several times, but today here I'm going to emphasize it again. We should study, read, and travel, and have dialogues with others. That our knowledge comes from dialogues. We can study knowledge about our own culture and other people's cultures. We can study international cultures. We can do this through reading books, articles, magazines, or browsing internet websites. We can go traveling. You take your bag and go out, leave this country, visit other places, and travel. And no matter you travel or when you are in your own country, let's have dialogues, let's have interaction with other people. Let's gain knowledge, let's learn from others. But since it's not possible for us to know everything, so we need to develop our communication skills. So how can you develop your communication skills? For example, you can learn foreign languages. Learning English can be a very good start. But in addition to English, you are also encouraged to learn other foreign languages. If you are interested in Japanese, then learn Japanese. If you are interested in German, French, Spanish, then try to learn all those foreign languages. You can also learn international etiquette, cultivate your manners, thinking for others, and of course, acquiring effective communication skills, which we are going to talk about in this session. All these things will help you to improve your intercultural communication skills. Then finally, be sensitive, reflective, and self-examining all the time. So we can be sensitive. We will know that how we can avoid imposing our own values on other people. And we will know how to adapt our behaviors, including verbal language, verbal behavior, and nonverbal behavior to the situation we are in, so we can always make our next intercultural encounter better. Okay, so this is an intercultural communication competence and how you can improve your intercultural communication competence. Now next, let's look at the following slide. In this slide, I'm going to introduce you some very effective communication skills. When having a cross-cultural dialogue, let's try to apply all these effective communication skills. So what are they? The first one is active listening. Active listening. Active listening is a very useful communication skill. And how can you achieve that? Now, let's look at this. When we listen actively, not passively. First of all, what you can do is to give responding cues. So for example, when you're having a conversation dialogue with the other person, and when you're listening, you're giving some responding sounds, or we call them cues. Like, yes, oh, okay, oh, well, all right. So these are responding cues. You don't just sit there and listen and look at the other person without any responses. That would be very confusing, okay? So when you're listening, try to give responding cues. Let people know that you're interested in their talk, you're interested in their culture, and you are listening, okay? So giving some responding cues. Yes, okay, all right, oh really? Ah, okay. So these are responding cues. Now, next, you can also use paraphrasing. Paraphrasing means that you use other words to say the same thing. So if the other person says one thing, oh, I have been to some countries and I've done some things last week. When you paraphrase, you use other words to reiterate or to repeat the same thing. For example, you will say, oh, right, okay, you mean you went to some places last week and those places were very interesting. So when you are paraphrasing, then the other person will know that you fully understand their meaning, right? So you are able to find the words to replace their saying. So this is good. You are listening actively. Okay. Except for giving responding cues and using paraphrasing, you can also ask questions. You can also ask questions for repetition, clarification, or details. Repetition means, beg your pardon, excuse me, what did you say? So sometimes because of accent or speaking pace, sometimes it's hard for us to understand people saying. You do not get the message or you do not get the content very clearly, you can ask for repetition. So often we use beg your pardon, or oh, that point is very interesting. Can you say it again? Or can you say something more? All right, ask for repetition or clarification. Clarification means to ask the person to make the points more clearly. Or you're not sure about the message, you check with the message. That's clarification. Did you say blah blah blah? Is that right? Am I understanding? Is my understanding correct? So you ask question for clarification or more details. Can you say a little bit more about this? This is very interesting. Oh, can you say something more about that? That is very interesting. Oh, you just mentioned something. I'm not sure. I know about it. So could you give me more details? All right. So all these questions can let the other person know that you are really interested. You are really involved in the conversation. You are really interested in their culture. So this kind of listening will be active and helpful in cross-cultural communication. Then another one is a summarizing. Summarizing means you get the main points of what the people have already said, and when you're summarizing the points, again they will understand that you fully gotten the idea. So summarizing is also a very good skill in active listening. All right, another one is inquiry. Inquiry means asking for information, okay? And we encourage you to use more open-ended questions. Open-ended question like a double-edged question. Oh, why? Why would you like to do that? Okay, why does your people do things in that way or in this way? May I ask you, may I know why or what or when? So you use double-edged questions for people to give you answers, to give you information. If you always use yes-no question, like is that right, or do you like it or not, then people will give you some very simple and direct answer. But simple and direct answers sometimes cannot give you information, right? When you want to learn about other people's lives, when you want to learn about other people's culture, open-ended questions will help you to get more information. Okay. Next, let's look at other effective communication skills. Here is advocacy. Advocacy means that you articulate your perspective or opinion. So when we are having dialogues with others, we can't just listen. You know, a lot of Asian people, Asian students, Taiwanese students tend to listen more and very quiet. But if we are quiet all the time, well, being quiet is good, okay? But if you are quiet all the time, then other people will not be able to learn about your own culture, right? So when people want to get to know you, when they want to know about your culture, when they want to learn something from you, you see, you need to articulate, you need to speak up, you need to talk about your viewpoint, your perspectives, your opinions. So tell others what you think. And after you say something, don't forget, invite other people to respond to your views and assumptions. Okay, so you ask people, what do you think? Okay, this is what I think, this is what we do, how we do this place in this culture, and how about you? So you can also invite other people, invite your listeners to respond, and then you have interaction, then you have an exchange. Be open-minded to the different opinion. So once you invite other people to respond to your opinions, to respond to your ideas, you need to be open-minded, okay? If you hear something different from your practice, different from your philosophy, be open-minded, okay? And then ask more information about why and how people think in that way. And also try to accept the possibility of learning new thoughts and shifting your views. Sometimes other people or people from different countries, different cultures, they will give you some new ideas. Okay, so think about those new ideas, and after you digest, after you study those new ideas, maybe you want to accept the new ideas. Okay, and finally, don't forget, during your process, your communication process, that's have good manners. So what are good manners? Good manners means that we keep people in mind, okay? Respecting others, and we try to speak and behave politely.